try to compare the events that has been described in Genesis, 創世記, okay, which is the first chapter of Bible, and compare to the history of life or evolution. How do you call it in that I'm going to talk about? So, okay, so it's actually finally interesting. I'm a scientist. Okay, I know quite a lot about evolutions. Okay, and it's actually quite interesting. You know, in day one, okay, you know, according to Genesis, okay, day one is let there be light. Okay, the God said let there be light, and there is light. Okay, and there was light. Sorry, and actually that's quite correct. You know, you see, I find it's actually quite interesting the sequence, the event that actually dictated in the Genesis. Roughly, you cannot. This is okay. Anyway, so so the sequence is actually very interesting. Roughly can be interpreted as the natural history of life that I've been talking to you the whole lecture. Day one, let there be light, would be responsible for the birth of the universe, the origins of the solar system, right? Sun, solar system. Day two, let the water be gathered together with one place and let dry land appear. This is actually corresponding to the, if you don't want to listen, you can go. It is just optional. But just find it interesting. It's not very scientific, but I just find it interesting to share with you. That I think this is actually referred to the formations of rock, the first rock. You know, in the beginning of the earth is actually so hot. Okay, there's actually none of the rock or would actually form because it's so hot. They will actually constantly form and melt at that time. It only until at the 4 billion years ago. Okay, sorry, if you're not interested, you can actually go. I think that's, you know, this is actually my last slide already. So you can go. Feel free to go. Yeah, maybe I just post it. And maybe I should stop. Okay. Yeah, maybe I should stop here. But okay, maybe I would yeah, maybe I should stop and no, I think don't take it as a scientifically correct. I just something sharing, you know, with you. Okay, but I just want to take this as a thing set to point out some of the major milestone in the history of natural life. This is actually a fact. Okay, whether you believe it's a coincidence or it's just okay, just irrelevant with Bible, it's actually it's not important. Okay, but the fact of the history of the earth is actually a scientific fact. Okay, so this actually we respond to very important time period in the earth that we call it the Archean Eon, which is actually that we can actually find some rock, the oldest rock that we can find in geology, 地質學, okay, that you can actually scientifically date it back to 4 billion years old. Okay, so this is actually marked the start of the Archean Eon, about at 4 billion years old, which means that scientifically you can obtain a rock specimen as old as 4 billion years old. Anything older than that, okay, you don't find it. Okay, because now the theory goes it's just too hot. The rock will constantly form and reform. Okay, so it's actually would never be able to date it back beyond 4 billion years. Okay, so yeah, let's dry land appear. So I will vaguely correlate it to this region, which is day 2. Day 3 is this is something I have been bugging me for a long time. Let the earth bring forth grass. Okay, but unfortunately, grass is actually a very relatively young species, okay, which is only occurs somewhere here, not here, okay. But the author of this book is actually very interesting. He argued that grass is actually not meant grass. It means the evolution of photosynthesis as a symbolic meaning. Whether you buy it or not is up to you, but I find it interesting, okay? And which is actually quite good, because this is the very beginning of life. The earliest life form, you talk about 3.8, someone say it's 3.5, but as early as something like as soon as 3.5 billion years ago, scientists have obtained fossil evidence that there show signs of photosynthetic activity as early as 3.5 billion years. But at that time, of course, it's an oxygenic photosynthesis. But later on, at something like 2.7 billion years ago, that would be the evolutions of cyanobacteria that later would become chloroplast in all plant cells that is found in today. Okay, and then the next is actually day 4 is about dividing the day from day to light. I don't want, if you want to, okay. So the author of this book argued that it's actually the evolution of eye, or evolutions of vision, okay. And then the other is day 5 is about let the water bring forth abundantly the moving creature that have life. Okay, this is actually very accurate because if you know, the diversity of life starts from the ocean. Okay, which is we call it the Cambrian explosion. It start in this Phanerozoic region, which is around about 541 million years ago. Okay, and then in the same day 5, this is also bugging me for a long time. Okay, let frog, which is actually birds, multiply in the earth. Okay, so I've been bugging it because I think, but last week I think that it could be related to dinosaur because the bird is you know that bird is actually evolved from dinosaur. Okay, so I think it would be quite good to, if we want to sample, if I'm gone, I want to tell the people 5,000 years ago about the evolution of the world. I'll try to explain, okay, actually, there's a certain very important period that dinosaurs rule the world. And then the Asian people look at me, hey, what is dinosaur? Then probably I will explain to him or her that, okay, this is dinosaur is actually something like bird, but it's not exactly like bird. Okay, so, okay, and then day 6 is that will be quite obvious. Cattle, creeping things, and beasts that will say maybe a bigger animal like mammal, which is actually after the extinctions of dinosaur, at something like 65 million years ago, which is going to Cenozoic region, which mammal, after the extinction of dinosaur, then the mammals flourish. Okay, of course, the last of the day 6 will let us make man in an image. Okay, I'll conclude my lecture today, and thanks. I hope you enjoy my lecture. If you have more questions or any other whatever discussion, you're so welcome to come here and discuss with me. Thank you.